Welcome to Coaching Unplugged, the digital mentorship channel for young Black men to thrive and learn the tools to be successful. Remember to subscribe to that bell so you always get notified on future episodes as we drop weekly. I have a special guest with us today. I have personally been a fan of this guy right here. He's been epic in the fashion game. And so his name is Mr. Van Jr. with at What My Teacher Wears on Instagram. So if you haven't, know about him, definitely go ahead and watch him. Make sure you get your style game right. I'm going to let him introduce himself in a minute. Want to make sure we introduce the topic of men's fashion. So now both of you and me at home, wherever you're watching this, I want to make sure you gain the new perspectives on balling on a budget, because this brother right here I'm about to introduce you to has the perspectives on the balling game, and it's amazing. Okay, so definitely how to make sure that you get your style game. You don't have to pay a whole lot. You can dress for less and be effective in your approach. Okay, so first off, absolutely want to make sure I introduce you, brother. What's going on, Mr. Van Jr.?
Man, we blessed, man. Highly favored, man. First and foremost, I'm Van Phillips Jr. Like you said, you can find me at What My Teacher Wears, where we just kind of teach men, teach families even, how to give off an image of lifestyle without losing the lifestyle, if that makes sense. So to teach you and to almost educate people as far as that we don't necessarily have to break the bank to look like we own the bank. Just a short, like I don't have to break the bank to look like I own the bank. So designer it's just been running the world for so long, and people think the only way that they can quote unquote look as though that they, I guess you can say, give off the image or give off the illusion, like, man, I'm getting money over here, that it has to be a certain designer that they have to rock. And I just want to kind of dispel all of those myths, which is kind of why it's just another extension of why we kind of created Redefining the Black Man. Like, as Black men, I don't necessarily have to go to a designer store, to almost give the illusion like I belong in a designer store. Like, you can just go through my page, like you just don't see me. Now, granted, do I have designer things? Yes, of course. I'm not finna sit here and say like I don't have the Gucci. I don't got I have it, but it doesn't it's not almost something that it runs me. It's more of a luxury. Like, that's nice, I'll buy it. Okay. Or I don't really need it. I don't need it. Instead of, man, I need this, or I need to go cop this, or I need to go buy this, or I need to go purchase this in order to feel as though within myself, like, he know this Louis, so he know I got it. Man, my picture, and I don't know when this is gonna go live, but as far as with the podcast, but my last picture, I tagged Walmart in the watch I had on. But if you look at how I put everything together, you wouldn't have known that I spent $9.98 on this watch, $12 on this cardigan, $15 on this turtleneck. You wouldn't have known all of this. And I just want to make sure that when you come to my page, you come to my page and you leave with inspiration as far as, dang, he did this by just going this and putting it with this, rather than you leaving my page saying, man, it's no way I'm ever going to be able to afford, to dress like him. Like, I don't never want anybody to leave my page feeling like that. When you leave my page, I want you to leave my page saying, yo, look, Van did it this way. I know it can be done.
No doubt.
And I don't necessarily have to, make over $100,000 in order to dress like Van.
No doubt. And brother, it's so much to you that I want to make sure we introduce to everybody that's listening on Instagram Live, but also everyone that's going to be listening to this on YouTube, because this channel is a brand new concept that I wanted to really focus on helping young black men for their style game, how to speak effectively, make sure that they're professional development. So we're going to get into it all today on this episode. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Definitely, again, thank you for joining us on the show. Honored to have you. Definitely want to make sure that this is a mentorship and a motivational inspiration for someone else who could definitely use it. All right. So first off, to start this thing off is where are you from? What do you do? Who is your biggest influence growing up and why? And then anything else you'd like to share with us today before we get into the main topic.
Where I'm from, Birmingham, Alabama, 205 representative.
Okay, Birmingham.
Yeah. My biggest influence growing up, it would, without a shadow of a doubt, it had to be my father. My
Okay.
father just, and not necessarily my father was my quote unquote biggest fashion influence, but just an influence just as an entirety, it had to be my father. And it's crazy kind of how you see the older you get, kind of the more even my father, he's beginning to take his fashion more serious. He's becoming more conscious of, okay, what he puts on. Because I remember growing up, my pop would just come out like, "Pop, that's way too big, man. Like, no. But as a kid, I didn't really know that. But as an adult, and you go back and you look at old pictures or you look at old videos and you see, that wasn't a drip right there. That was not the play. Right. So my father, hands down, is my biggest influence. Just from everything as far as being a man, being a child of God, being a husband, being a father, everything that wraps up who Van Jr. is. I pulled, a lot of things from him. Granted, I learned a lot of things on my own, and as I'm still progressing, as far as a man, I'm still learning new things about myself. Some of the things that I do, some of the things that I don't like, some of the things that I need to pick up, some of the things I need to drop off. I think that's very important, as you're transitioning, from adolescence and, into adulthood. There are some things that you were taught as an adolescent that necessarily, they might not fit the necessarily life that you want as you become older. There's some things that you were taught as a kid that you might not necessarily want to continue doing as you get older. And there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, my old man is definitely without a shadow of a doubt, my biggest influence. And I can't remember the third one.
So who was your so definitely anything else you want to share, expand on that. So I know, for instance, you said your dad wasn't like, he used to come out with something that was kind of big. So how did it influence you in your personal growth and as far as your style game and all that?
So when I got to college, that was the biggest transition as far as who I was and who I was becoming.
Got you.
So high school, as you basically, you buy what you wear what your parents buy you. Yeah, you can say, "Mom, I want this," "Pop, I want that." But at the end of the day, when you're not funding, you don't really determine what you put on necessarily.
Sure.
So as I kind of transitioned into college, I kind of started picking up my own identity. Mm-hmm. So you would see, and this is before I even crossed Kappa, you would see me walk into class in a shirt and a tie. You would see me walk into class in a polo. You would see me walk into class in khakis. You would see me walk into class with a briefcase in my hand. Again, I want to be very clear. This is before I pledged Kappa. Okay. This is one of the reasons why when I got to school, I was, okay, who was that young cat? Gotcha. And I got to school at 17. So I started very early as soon as I got to school. Like, you literally can see me. You can see my transition freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. By my junior and my senior year, it was nothing to see me in a suit. Like, it was nothing to see that. For me, again, my journey isn't everybody else's journey. That might not be your journey. That might not be the type of drip that you even want. Mm-hmm. Like, and if it's not the type that you want, that's okay. Mm-hmm. I don't never want people to think just because I put on what I put on, this is what you have to put on. I think that's just what's so great about fashion. Fashion is just an expression of how you feel. How I felt today. I didn't feel like necessarily doing anything with my hair, so I threw on this hat. It's just simple things, just as far as that fashion helps you represent feelings.
Sure.
And so when you see me, whatever you see me on, that's more than likely how I'm feeling it that day. And it's crazy because when you step inside my classroom Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, majority of the time, you're going to see Mr. Phillips, shirt, tie, and almost a three-piece. That's just what you're going to see me Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Granted, it's winter, so now you might not see me in shirt, tie, but you'll see me in a turtleneck.
Right.
Thursday and Friday, you tend to see me relax a little bit more. That's the same approach in the classroom. I'm more chilled on a Thursday. I'm more chilled on a Friday. And you can see it with the way I dress. Okay. So everything I put on, it's always an expression on kind of how I feel at that particular day or that particular time or that particular moment.
Sure. So you got young people that look at you and say, wow, you know, this guy has these different suits, he's got different outfits. And sometimes I'm looking at your, you know, your stories, and it'll be like, you know, the presentation of your different shirts, different ties, different jack games. Was there ever a situation where you had a young person in your classroom that said, you know, Mr. Van Jr., Mr. Van, I want to go ahead and rock what you rock. How do I, you know, how do I do that? What would you tell
All
them?
right, so every Halloween, it never fails. I have 2 to 3 kids that dress up for me to dress up as me for Halloween.
Oh, that's what's up.
It never fails. Every Halloween, I always get 2 to 3 of my kids that's going to dress up and try to imitate how I look. Or if it's not even for Halloween, we might have a dress up day, or we might have a specific week at school where it's like dress up as your favorite person. And I'll have a kid or two dress up as me. And so when you see that, you start to really see, and it starts to put you on notice. Even particularly me, it puts me even more on notice that, okay, I need to be very intentional on everything I put on when I step in front of these kids. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. And when I first got into education, one of the main, granted, it was already my lifestyle, but I took it up even more notch because I was so young. I got into education at 22. I got into education at 21, excuse me. Okay. I got into education at 21. What you see on my face, you saw none of that. None of it. I went through my entire college. I didn't have a beard. I barely had a goatee.
You're a little scraggly.
Oh, I'm talking about that struggle beard was real. And so as I'm getting into education, and my first education job, it was in high school, and it's in high school. So I'm almost looking in the face just like them. So one way that I really found that I can kind of separate myself is just by the way I dress, because it was really weird when we would walk into a gym, and they'll literally approach me as one of the players instead of the coach, because I have on the same sweatsuit they had on. I have on some sneakers, like I was coaching, so I had on coaching gear, but I might not have on, you know, a button up, or I might not have on a collar shirt that had our school name on it. I might have just had on our school sweatsuit. Gotcha. And so when I saw that, I was like, I got to change. I really have to be intentional, you know, at every moment about how I present myself around these kids. So that was a big reason when I first got into education, why I really started dressing up every single day. I just didn't want to look like a kid anymore.
Understood. And now I'm coming from an era, and I'm not sure when you finished school, but I went to Virginia State University before I eventually finished at Old Dominion. So HBCU and in the Petersburg area of Virginia and whatnot. And so I mirrored a lot of the guys that was on the yard, you know, in the organizations and stuff like that. And a lot of the dress game was, I remember back in the day, it was like the Bathing Apes, or, you know, the Jordan.
Bathing Apes, Red Monkey Jumping. That's what Jesus said.
Marith Garbard. I mean, just some of the styles. I mean, but see, the thing is, I realized is that as I was trying to mirror that, you know, I really wasn't really playing off my personality truly to who I was. Because I always felt better in a suit. I always felt better in a shirt and tie. I have certain shoes. Eventually, I started to pick up, but it wasn't until, like, as I'm mirroring your situation, till I got into the career in my professional life. I work in business banking today. And so I have to look a certain way based on the clientele that I talk to. But I always realize, it's like, wait a minute, I feel like somebody even important. When I walk into a room and they see a certain hat, they see a certain, you know, watch, they like, wow, okay, I want to be that. Or I need to give that brother some attention, or at least some respect. So what do you think?
Let me, because it's a certain way. When you see me in whatever room you see me in, it's a certain way you have no choice but to approach me. Because of what you see, you only have to approach me a certain way. You just can't approach me any type of way because of how I look.
Sure. And
I think that's the message, as far as that I really try to relate. What message can I send without having to open my mouth? What message can I send without having to speak? So when you see Mr. Phillips, whatever, you see Van Jr. just in the street taking pictures, you see me in the classroom, you see me handling or conducting business with my brand. However you see me, there's a certain way you have to approach me because of the way that I look. And I mean, I was a huge Jabot advocate in high school. Like, strapped, man. tall. That was me.
Yeah.
That was me. Yeah. But again, it was a certain way, even then, that you had to approach me.
Right.
A certain way then you had to approach me.
Right.
So I think it's what message can we send without having to open our mouth? When you look at fashion, like what message can you send without having to open your mouth? I step into a classroom. It's a certain way a parent gonna have to address Mr. Phillips. You can't address me like you just can't address me with a certain type of almost vitriol or a certain type of anger, regardless of how angry you might be because of the certain grade that your child might have. It's a certain way you got to walk into my classroom because when you see me, he's not like everybody else. Wow. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's the greatest gift that I have when I step into any school. I'm different. Like, I'm different. And I want other male educators to understand that as far as when you step into that school, in that building, in that room, you know, what is going to separate you from everybody? Everybody is everybody's a teacher. Everybody's teaching the same thing. Yo, I'm not just trying to be just that teacher. No, I don't want you to just, and I heard Eric Thomas say that, I don't want you to just remember me. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to never forget me. It's a difference. Right. Man, I remember Mr. Phillips, man. You know he's man, I ain't gonna never forget Mr. It's a difference. It's a difference. Right. And then a kid telling you, man, I remember him. I promise, Mr. Phillips, I'm never gonna forget you. Sure. That's a different feeling that you get, but you only get that feeling by certain messages that you relay to students, by how you almost make them feel, you know, again, without opening your mouth.
Right.
That's what I'm big on, sending messages without saying a word.
So, you know, something, you hit the nail on the head with that, because I always speak and preach on legacy. One of the biggest things for me, I said, hey, once I finished this master's last year in 2020 and 2021, hey, I'm dedicated to make sure I bring attention to people who don't really are not thinking about like the next 10 years. You know, what does that look like? But you have people that are going to come back to you and say, wow, this brother, like myself, I'm saying, hey, this brother actually, I learned, you know, a lot about, hey, how certain styles look, how certain things look, how you can draw a certain attention and you can make, you know, a difference in the way how you feel just before what you put on. And so for that young person who really looking at his wardrobe is looking like, wow, I don't really have a whole lot going on.
Or I don't know. I love what you just said right there, because especially when it comes to our kids, our young black boys, especially.
Yes.
I mean, me and you both, we cut from the same cloth. Look, if your shoes was busted up, like they was gonna be on you. Like if you didn't have the top of the top, they was going to be on you. Yeah. And so I make it very clear to my kids, like, yeah, Mr. Phillips got this from the thrift store. Yeah, Mr. Phillips only paid $10 for these sneakers. So I'm already dispelling, I'm already almost tearing down all of these invisible barriers that our culture have just already put on our kids unintentionally. Right. Unintentionally, because they're a part of this culture, they think in order to be seen as quote unquote cool, you have to spend X amount of dollar on these shoes. Or in order to seem cool, you have to make sure you rocking this particular brand. But when you come to Mr. Phillips and Mr. Phillips tells you, yeah, Mr. Phillips only paid $10 for his shoes. Yeah, Mr. Phillips got this watch right here. I got this from Walmart. Right. It gives, like, you respect me just as a man, totally different now. Right. Forget me being your teacher. Like, forget all that. Let's put that to the side. Just as a man, me putting you on game. You respect me as a man, totally different. So now the things that I'm telling you as far as now it's time for me to educate you, it hits different. It just hit different. Sure. So I'm able to make a connection with a certain student that other teachers might not be able to make. Because I'm telling you, man, look, you know I'm fly. Like I cannot, you know, like you know, I put it on with the best.
Can't argue with it at that point. It's like, look,
like, what are you gonna say? What you gonna say? Exactly. Like, what are you gonna say? Like, you can't argue with somebody who's telling you, man, my entire outfit cost me $25, excluding the shoes. Sure. But then you look at your sneaks alone gonna cost you $80. Right. And you don't have a fit yet. You ain't got no more pair of sneakers. You ain't got a fit yet. No doubt. So now when I'm showing you this particular way, as far as putting it together, and I'm telling you, yeah, I went Walmart this day. I went to the thrift store that day. Oh yeah, I went to Target that day. Hey man, I went to JCPenney's the other day. So I'm telling you all of these quote unquote affordable places, and I'm still looking this particular way. Right. So you go on Instagram and you look at your favorite fashion influencer, and everything they got on might be whatever, whether it's custom, whether it's design, or whatever it might be. And you looking at my stuff, you saying, yo, Mr. Phillips, you're right up there with them. Granted, I don't want you might not be able to see the LV, but man, you put that together. You feel what I'm saying? So you just get a different opinion about your teacher now.
Sure.
You get a different opinion about me as a man now. I really stand for something. I'm not telling you, man, well, them J's busted. Instead of me telling you your J's busted, I'm telling you next time when you go buy you a pair of sneakers, make sure you don't buy the J's. Make sure you buy the shell toes, because the shell toes are half the price of the J's. Now you got two pair of shell toes. You got a black pair, you got a white pair, and now you got some fits you can put together instead of wearing the same shoes over and over. So you just gonna respect me more just as somebody putting you on game. Forget me teaching you. Forget me educating you. Forget me telling you the main idea of the thing. Forget me telling, but I'm just putting you on real game. I'm teaching you life.
No doubt.
You feel what I'm saying? And that's where I get a lot of my respect from. I don't teach academics. I teach life, and I just so happen to intertwine academics within the life that I teach.
Okay. So as we already know, and I definitely have struggled when I was first coming into this, fashion game and everything like that. You had to start off piecing things together. Like, I don't get, like you mentioned earlier, you maybe go to Target, you may just Penny, you may go to, somewhere on eBay or whatever like that. For somebody,
Family Dollar, man, I'll go shopping. Man, I'll shop anywhere. Well, if it's clothes, I like it, I'm buying it because I know I can put it together. I don't care where it is, Dollar General, Family Dollar, it don't matter where I am. If I see something I like and I feel as though I can pull it off, I'm buying that. The brand is never gonna stop me from buying. No, that's Family Dollar. You got that Family Dollar? Yep, sure did.
No doubt. So what about like when it comes to like patterns and layering and all that stuff? How can somebody just at least get the basics? Like, let's say I'm 18 or I'm 20 and I'm I may be going to college or something like that. How can I walk on a yard first day? As far as like, what can I do? So I know when I was a kid in high school, I would have, and I know you did the same thing too. My door had my whole outfit pressed. My whole like suit game. I had the Air Forces, the white Air Force at the bottom and all that. I was like,
gotta have the white Forces. Gotta have them.
You know what I'm saying? It was like a customary thing. You had to have it. But so like, if somebody's looking at it now, like, in this day and age, they kind of want to pair off what you do when it comes to certain patterns layering. How important is that?
If you're first starting off, you should not be trying to dress like me. Let me just keep that plain. If you're first trying to start off, you're trying to upgrade your fashion sense, you should not be trying to pull off what I'm pulling off, because you don't have any idea how you're supposed to be making this plaid with this plaid and this pattern with this pattern. If my advice to anybody just trying to, you want to build your work, keep it monochromatic. Mm-hmm. Stick with your monochromatic colors. Stick with your blues. Stick with your grays. Intertwine blacks here and there. But those two colors, if you go in my closet right now and you look, and because I'm gonna put a reel up sooner or later. Okay. But if you look at my closet, majority of my suits, they have hints of gray, hints of blue. Those are my go-to colors. Okay. Gray, blue. Why is gray and blue my go-to colors? Because I know I can throw on black shoes with either one of those. I can throw on sneakers with either one of those. I can do brown with either one of those. So I don't necessarily box myself in. Now, when you start kind of implementing plaids and when you start implementing different patterns, all right, you got to know what you're doing, because you can't necessarily have a plaid suit and then you think you're going to come back with a plaid shirt and you got you a paisley tie. Man, if you don't get that country out of here, don't do that. Don't do it. So if you first trying to get into actually putting this drip together, hey, keep it monochromatic. Keep it simple. Simple is always going to be the way. If you don't know what you're doing, keep it simple. Always. If you go to my Instagram and you see me having on a pattern, you're never going to see me pattern on pattern. Regardless of what that is, whether that's tie pattern, shirt pattern, you're never gonna see it. If I have a shirt pattern, that you can best believe that tie gonna be more than likely it's gonna be solid, because I gotta break it up. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you know what you're doing, then me and you we don't need to have this conversation. We don't need to have this conversation if you already know what you're doing. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're trying to follow me for advice, understand monochromatic is always gonna be your friend. Always gonna be your friend until you understand why this color goes with this color, why this plaid goes with this plaid, why that plaid, I can't wear it with that plaid. Like, until you understand why this doesn't go with this, and again, you're not gonna understand it honestly until you've been seeing tacky before. Yo, it's plenty fits I done put together. My wife, yo, bro, where are you going? Like, where are you going? So where you going? Where you going with that on? I just struck out. Now, it ain't made it to the gram, but you can believe your boy has struck out on some fits. And my wife had to quickly tell me, man, look, the closet right back in there. Go find you something else. Like, whenever I'm confused about something, so you really want to know the game, find your woman. Oh, she'll let you know. Yeah, that's put together. Whenever I'm in limbo, hey, babe, what you think about this? What you think about this?
Yeah, same thing.
You feel what I'm saying?
No doubt, no doubt. So walk me through, like, okay, when it comes to like the business casual, choosing the right fit for the right occasion. There are a lot of times where, people get stuff like for the last minute when it comes to like special events, right? So like, for instance, a ball or something like that, it's going to be a very different fit than you going to church, or, you going to work, it's going to be a very different fit than going, to a little seminar or something like that. So when it comes down, because right now, obviously it's the pandemic, not many people are going to a lot of different things, but do you believe in having a just in case, can people, put up outfit that's specifically for certain type of events?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked that, because it's the perfect thing for me to actually say this. So if you go to my Instagram and you go to my last Christmas year's photo, go back an entire year, and you look at our photos as far as with me in the tux, my wife in the green, go back and look at those photos. The blazer I had on came straight out of the thrift store. Straight out of the thrift store. I bought that blazer, I bought that tuxedo blazer with the intentions of having no clue when I was going to put it on. But it was $450. It's going to be something that's going to come up that I'm going to need this for. Okay. Now, granted, I didn't know I was going to need it 4 months later when we going to take Christmas photos. I had no clue about that, but I knew this was very rare that I was going to find this in the thrift store. Like, you're just not going to come across a tuxedo, you're just not. Right. And so my advice is, when you see deals that that don't make you too uncomfortable spending, go ahead and jump on it. As far as for special occasion. So as far as if that exact same blazer might have been, let's say, $60-$70, I probably wouldn't have bought it. I'm just gonna be honest. I probably wouldn't have bought it. I wasn't in there to spend that money. Sure. That's not why I was in there. So, but I did see it. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna keep this in the tub. I don't know when I'm gonna wear it, but I'm gonna keep it in the tuck. And I don't even care if I gotta force myself. Hey, look, we're going to this ball just so I can put this on. Right. But I always had in the tuck. My wedding blazer, the blazer that I wore at my wedding, the blazer that me and my wife got married in, and that joint came from eBay for $65. Wow. Man, I took that joint to a tailor, and if you just saw if I didn't tell y'all this right now, y'all would have never known. You would have never known. Sure. You would have never known. But again, it ain't about how much you spend. It's about how you spend it. You feel what I'm saying?
Feel you on that.
At $65 off eBay. That joint came from China. China. Yeah. But again, I was like, you know what? I know the look I want. Sure. But yo, Tom Ford, I just can't give you $3,500 for a blazer, Playboy. Right. I can't get that to you. Can't get that to you. I know it's my special day. I know this day only gonna come once. Yeah. I know it is. Sure. But I gotta get married. I'm gonna be married day 2. Right. I can't give you $3,500. Right. You feel what I'm saying? No. But you can go look at somebody who has a Tom Ford white and black tux just like mine. I guarantee you won't be able to tell the difference. How do I know? I made sure of that.
No doubt. No doubt. And I agree with you on that, because I've been in situations where, I bought something and I was like forward thinking, like, okay, I need this to look right. I need this to be, this way. But I also kind of didn't want to spend a whole lot either. And there's so many people I've ran into that have spent that kind of cash. And maybe they got the look, but it's just like, again, they didn't have to spend a whole lot to get a whole lot. And I think about this one place. I don't know if you know, I'm sure you already know about this, but Dillard's, one of my great locations I go to. every New Year's Day they have a crazy sale. I mean,
stupid sale.
55%
No, it's a
off.
stupid sale.
Stupid sale,
Man,
right?
you
You
can
can
best
rack
believe I'm
up
in there
like
every January 1st and 2nd.
yeah,
I'm in there.
yeah,
Yes, no, I know exactly what
yeah,
you're talking about. No, I
yeah,
know
yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
No doubt. And that was one of my, believe it or not, by the way, that was actually one of my jobs. I actually worked in the ladies' shoe department. And so when I learned about the game, how that worked and everything like that, I was like, oh, wow, okay, so this is how I go. Got you. So definitely, hey, man, I definitely appreciate you sharing that with me. So as far as if I'm looking in the minds of thrifting, because you talked about thrifting, you talked about that, and that's the emphasis. When I first got into your channel, into your YouTube page in the very beginning, I think I've been following you about 2 years or so. There were a couple outfits. I was like, there's no way this brother found this at the thrift store. But then I started to look for myself. I was like, this brother going to the thrift store. So you got Goodwill, you got the Salvation Army. Is there ones out there that, you know, a brother can go to and find something that's like genuine, it looks decent? Are there, you know, is there a difference between high-end areas you'll find go to a thrift store, or is it like lower areas? What do you think about that?
Okay, so and I've been doing thrifting so long, so I've heard all of the, man, you got to make sure you go in a rich area, man, if you want to get the nice clothes.
Right.
Oh, that's a lie. That is a bold-faced lie.
Okay.
I know it's a lie because I came in with the same almost impression, because when I went to, my wife and I, we went to LA a few years ago, and I said, I'm finna rack up. Like, I'm finna go to Cali, I'm finna hit these.
Right.
And I hit 4 thrift stores and I didn't find anything. When I say anything, I didn't find anything. Let me take that back. I didn't find anything in those that I couldn't find in the thrift stores back at the crib.
Got you.
It was nothing when I went to LA that I found in that store that I couldn't find back home. So honestly, I think it's more just about, man, you just got to get lucky sometimes. I'm gonna just keep it honest. Like, it's no secret, like almost guide that you follow in order to get lucky in the thrift. You just got to get lucky sometimes. Like, it's been, yes, you see me and I can show you, yeah, I got this from the thrift. I got this. I've been thrifting for 3 years. Do you know how many things I've gotten from the thrifts? Mm. Do you know how many times I have struck out? Like, I've gotten nothing. Mm. Like, I walked in, I walked right back out.
Right.
Numerous of times. So when it comes to the quote unquote notion that you got to go to like the high end areas, man, that is absolutely false. The hood Goodwills, I have found way more gems than in the nice Goodwills over in our little, I guess you can say, cul-de-sac. Because we have 4 thrift stores and 2 Salvation Armies. I find more in the thrift stores and the Salvation Armies in the hood than I do in my nicer areas, and that's just a fact.
Sure.
You feel what I'm saying? So it might not be like that with everybody. Like, some areas, that notion might be different. I can only speak for my area because Goodwill is very locational.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, so one location, it might have total different drip than in another location. 40 an hour down the road, you might find some great pieces, but then you come back that way, you might not find some okay pieces. So I just think it's all about when you step into it more than where you step into.
Understood. Okay, and that makes total sense, because I was, to be honest with you, lost in a situation trying to find, you know, the right spot, because I was always told, hey, you got to go to this spot, you got to go to that spot. But I'm to come to find out there's also drip game that you can find at a couple of online retailers even through Instagram. Like, there's one I think you actually followed and you wore. It's like some of down to the pendant. There's another one actually out of Houston. It's called Southern Gents. I don't know if you ever peeped them before.
Oh, of course, with that.
What? Yeah.
They brim game is crazy. They brim game is crazy.
Crazy.
When I tell you, the only thing that's keeping the pandemic is the only thing, because I went to Houston. Like, when I tell you, because I don't even know, somebody told me that they had a store. I didn't do my research, but I told myself, next time in Houston, I'm visiting. I'm in there. Like, I'm in. Yeah. Oh, they brim game is crazy.
Crazy. The accessories. I mean, some of the shoes and boots, and I think that some of those things, like, okay, if I'm elevating my game, you know, that's a great start to go to based on the type of looks, because anywhere I can tell you that puts it together for you,
their Instagram, they'll in their models, whoever they use to take those to model off their clothing, they show you how you could kind of put it together and piece it together. And so I think that's dope. Do you focus on, you know, Black retailers as well? Like, I know you can go, you do your thrifting and stuff like that, but is that a focus as far as when you're getting some of your products?
When it comes to getting my shoes,
okay,
that's strictly about what's the best. My shoes, that's something I'm gonna be honest. That's something I don't thrift.
Okay.
Like that's one thing I do. I don't thrift my shoes just from the simple fact, you know, just you know how that goes. Like I'm real finicky. I'm real iffy about it. That's one thing I can say I'm real kind of iffy about is my shoes. So I don't necessarily get my shoes from the thrift, but if I do get my shoes, if I don't already have a previous partnership, because that's one thing that I have to be careful with because I'm in the lane that I'm in. Sure. I have to make sure that it's not man, I forgot the word off the top of my head. Basically, I have to make sure that I'm not in breach of contract.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if I'm not in breach of contract, for sure I'm supporting. I'm supporting. Some contracts I do, as far as with shoe companies, I have to make sure, like I can't show another shoe company for X amount of months.
Okay.
But again, that just depends on if I'm not in contract. For sure. I'm Black Magic, Black everything. Come on, man.
So talk to us about like how to get started, you know, starting getting sponsorships as far as if a young brother wants to do, you know, a channel, something like this, he wants to get his, you know, attention to Instagrammers or whatever like that, or different, you know, be an influencer like yourself, you know, how can they do that as far as getting some sponsorship? Is it a matter of just, you know, previewing an outfit or previewing a product? Talk to us a little about that.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, the best way you can get seen by a brand, best way, number one way is go first support the brand. Mm-hmm. Number way you can get noticed, go support the brand and create quality content to where when you tag the brand will actually want to know, okay, what other type of content do you produce? You feel what I'm saying? If you're going into this thing and you never supported that brand at all, and you're just starting, the likelihood of them collaborating with you is going to be, I hate to say this, but it's going to be almost slim to none. Because the Instagram field it's so difficult now to grow.
Sure.
And because the algorithm, it continues to change as far as its highs and its lows, as far as who sees it, who doesn't see it. Mm-hmm. This is my opinion. The best thing you can do is go support a brand, whatever brand you want to work with, go support it, go create some type of content for them. Go look at their Instagram page, see what type of content they have on their Instagram. This is free. Go look at their Instagram page, see what type of content that they produce on their Instagram page. Okay. You do the exact same thing in hopes that they will share you on their Instagram page. Because if you create content that only thing they have to do is screenshot and upload, that makes it easier on them. You feel what I'm saying? As you grow. And what that's going to do is that's now going to get you in front of new eyeballs. You just starting out, so nobody know you. Right. So you need to get in front of eyeballs. How do you get in front of eyeballs? A brand repost is the quickest way to get you in front of a different audience. That's the quickest way. What type of content are you creating for this particular brand that this brand can see you as, I need to go repost what he just posted. I got to go, like I have to. Sure. And so when you get that, then you can start building as far as building your context, building your connects, you know, growing your audience, because the larger your audience grow, the more brands are going to come to you as far as wanting you to, whatever it might be, as far as promote whatever brand that you might be promoting. Because once you have the audience, I'm a firm believer, once you have the audience, you can sell anything to anyone.
No doubt, no doubt. And so even about that, you know, audience, you have the audience, obviously you're catering to in your brand, and I'm actually rocking one of your shirts. Everybody can see. Just make sure that's out there. So this one is redefining the Black man, brother. When
Talk to me.
I was like, yo, I'm all on game. This is
Talk to me.
How do you get started on this idea? What was, you know, intention with it? Because it is intentional in the message, and
very intentional. This is not something. My brand was not something as far as off a whim. Okay. This was something that I was doing that I had no intention on turning into a t-shirt brand. I had no intention on turning into an actual merchandise brand. Like, it was no intention for me to turn this. This got created off a conversation that I was having with my wife. That's simply it. we were thinking of ways that we can move forward in order to grow my brand, because I didn't know anything. I'm gonna be honest, 3 years ago, I didn't know anything about really Instagram. I just did. I wasn't on it. My wife was, I wasn't really, that just wasn't my lane.
Okay.
And she said, man, look, you need to start taking this brand serious, because at that point in time, I was starting to grow as an educator. More people were trying to, figure out and find out who is this dude? Mm-hmm. And so what we started doing is we started looking at everything that I had done previously. Sure. Man, Van, you suited up every day. Van, you treat your children, your kids with a certain amount of respect. Van, everything you do, it's almost defying every negative stereotype that's associated with a Black man. And literally, my wife, man, I want to tell you, when it comes to like the creative director, the marketing genius, like that's what she does. Like, and I just go run with it. She give me the idea, and look, I just go run with it. She said, man, you know what, bro, you're kind of like redefining what it's like to be a Black man. And she said, that's it. I say, what? She said, you're redefining the Black man. And that's when I created a hashtag. That like literally that moment, a conversation, this is just a conversation that I'm having between my wife. That's why, again, I think it's very important you have somebody in your corner. You got that. Man, people don't understand like how you understand. The world understands now, because Atlanta shows you how valuable women are.
Yes. And
you have to understand when you get that woman in your life.
Yes.
And she really is just in your corner.
Yeah.
Like the elevation and how quick it can happen.
Sure.
Man, it's mind blowing. If I'm just gonna be honest, it's mind blowing to see kind of like the information that she can give me. And like when I actually implement it, like how fast it takes off. Sure. Again, because women just see the world different than we as men see. And that's no knock on us as a man.
Right.
But it's a reason why when God created the world, he created two different people. He didn't create all men. He didn't create all women. We think differently. So when I created this brand, it was just off of a conversation based off my previous actions. This had nothing to do with making money. This had nothing to do with starting a brand, starting an LLC. Like this had nothing to do, like that wasn't my intention.
Got you.
Like I was using the hashtag redefining the Black man. I was using that almost a year and a half before I first came out with my first t-shirt. Okay. So I wanted people to know, like, this wasn't my plan. Like this wasn't what I was actually like going for. Like this just so happened to just happen, because a lot of people started catching on to it. Like, yo, you are redefining the Black man. And when people started to say like, okay, I like that. Okay, now let's turn this into a movement. Let's see if we can get more men that's going to be very intentional about redefining every single negative stereotype that has almost identified us as Black men. Like, okay, let's make sure this movement and men understand, as far as in any way, shape, form, or fashion, if you're doing something that defies what the world tells you that you are. They say we lazy. They say we don't want to work. Well, let me show you, man. I got 2 jobs. I run 2 businesses. I'm redefining. And they say, man, we don't take care of our kids. Hey, man, both of my kids in the house right now, they ain't going nowhere. No, I take care of mine. Right. Black men, they not faithful to their wife, man. That ain't never a question my wife won't ever have to worry about when it come to me. Man, that Black men, they don't want to get married. Man, I got married at 24. I already knew what I wanted in my life. You feel what I'm saying? So all of this is just my actions. Again, I'm not trying. It wasn't me trying to make a movement. It was just me doing what I felt I needed to produce in the world in order to set a positive example for them little Black and brown babies that I teach every day.
No doubt.
You feel what I'm saying?
I feel you. I'm so glad, first of all, that you brought that up. I'm so glad you talked about it, because there are a lot of people that push those negative thoughts. You go on Twitter, you see on Instagram, they're pushing those stereotypes. Some people push those stereotypes. Not everybody does, but people who push that stereotype.
Even the memes that they use to describe us. Like, don't describe me with that meme.
And I just want to say, I love that you are a prime example. You have a beautiful family. I'm so even honored, even though your wife is the one who actually helped you in your journey on that one. But it is so important to get a partner that is God sent, that's called by God, through God, to help you in your journey. And I'm gonna tell you something. That's something that means so much to me. And And hey man, I appreciate your walk because not a lot of people, believe in it. I mean, we'll see it. And so,
Bro, people don't even realize my wife was my first girl. Like, I didn't have a girlfriend. Like, before my wife, like, I didn't even have a girlfriend. Like, that's just something I didn't do. Like, I didn't do the girlfriend thing. Like, my wife, when she presented herself in such a way that literally made me change everything about me. Wow. Like, literally made me change everything about me. My wife was my first girlfriend. Like, legit, that's my first girlfriend. And so again, my word of 2021 is leverage.
Okay.
So now when you want the services of Van Jr., you got to pay for that. Like, you got to pay, like, I don't have an ex-wife. You got to pay for that. Yo, I don't have kids just outside of my wife. No, you got to pay for that. Mm. Like, you don't just pay for my services. No, you got to pay for my character too. Mm. That's attached to me. That's attached to redefining the black man. Redefine the black man. It's not just a t-shirt brand. No, it's who I am. Mm-hmm. So you got to pay for that. No. I can't give you that. No, mm-hmm. No, man. Look, man, I'm on my first and only marriage. Right. You got to pay for that care. Like, you got to pay me and my wife. You got to pay for that. That ain't easy. That ain't easy. It ain't easy to stay with somebody. Like, we were literally both kids when we got married. Mm-hmm. That's not easy as far as we're both growing up together. Bro, we are together like this. No, Brand, you got to pay for that. No, I can't. No, you got to pay for that. That cost. You want Van to come speak at an event? No doubt. The character that I'm coming in with, because once you put my name on it, they're going to go research, who is he? Mm-hmm. And so they're going to start seeing everything that I've done and everything that I represent. Hey, I got to charge you for that. Because everybody can't say that. Right. And this ain't the brag, this ain't the boast, this is the truth. Everybody can't say that. And because I can say that, I got to charge you for that. Character ain't free around here, Playboy.
No doubt. And man, I'll tell you, like, it's definitely something that I think a lot of people miss when it come down to even presenting themselves. They sell themselves short. Ultimately they automatically think that, I'm not worth like the Cole Haans or, Eric Thomas, the people that you talked about earlier. So man, I appreciate it. It's one of those things that we're getting back to really helping the village, helping the community. And so this is definitely a channel. I feel like this was going to be focused on that. And, and with the merchandise, everything that you have in that brand, I think it reinforces that image.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
If we as black men, if we don't hold each other accountable, who will? Mm. You feel what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, and when I say accountable, I don't mean checking. Like, I don't mean like, bro, no, I'm just like conversation.
Right.
Like, this is like you checking me, I'm checking you.
Right.
Not in a negative way, but just in a conversation way. Right. So now you get to see, okay, how does Van really think? Because I don't do lives like I don't. Everybody just don't have access to me like that.
Understood.
So when you get access to me, how are we going to check each other in order for when we leave this conversation that we are not like that we started here, that we're now here? You feel what I'm saying? So as black men, how do we check each other? Again, not in a negative way, but how do we check each other more?
So I'm going to say this, and I will say it is being completely honest. For me, I want somebody to land on my channel, and because I'm brand new into trying to do anything like this. This is something like we're actually in launch week. When I put this live and post it, of course, Instagram is getting it, right now, before I even post it and everything like that. But when I post this on YouTube, okay, I want people to coming back to me and say, okay, hey, this is the brand I'm trying to represent, but I have a few suggestions. I'm open to it. I want somebody to come back who's been in the game for a long time. I'm sure you heard of Alpha Male Strategies, the guy that channel who's been on for a while as well. He talks to a certain type of young dudes who like a lot of multiple different kind of women. I'm not that dude, I'm trying to, that was that was, my early 20s. I'm not trying to be about that. I'm 33. Okay. So the precedent that I'm trying to set right now, I'm at this point, hey, look,
you can motivate me, you can mentor me, you can come back to me and give me your feedback. I'm going to do the same for you. But we have this common theme in a lot of communities. Hey, bro, I don't need you to tell me what to do. I don't need you to tell me hey, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help you so that you can focus on you bettering yourself.
That's crazy that you
comes out
said
of my
that,
mouth,
bro.
huh?
That's crazy that you said that. That's crazy. I had someone, well, it was multiple people.
Okay.
But because I have the platform I have, a lot of times they just, and because people don't really know, because I made these mistakes, which is the reason why I can give the advice that I give. So you come into me and you want something from me. Like you want to be able to send your product. You want to be able to send your t-shirt. You want to be able to send whatever it is that you're going to send to me, and you want me to repost it. If we're just going to be blatant and honest, what does that do for me? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, how is this exchange going to be mutual? Because you want me to post whatever it is that you have, mm-hmm. but it's nothing, I guess you could say, that's going to, the even exchange is not going to happen. Like, sure. I know me posting, I know what that can do for you. Right. I know that. Other than support. Yeah, I know I'm all for support. I'm all for it. Don't come in my DMs saying, I want to send you this so you can post this. What does that do for me? Okay. Like, I have to create the content. Mm-hmm. Like, I have to put the fit together. Like, I have to do everything. Only thing you're doing, like, I own a merchandise brand. It's right here. No, you put that, you putting that in a bag and you shipping it off. Like, how is that exchange going to be even? So when I have brands that come into me, smaller brands, again, because I'm a small brand, but I have even smaller brands come to me. All right, look, I respect your hustle. And I even respect that you are confident enough just to jump in my DM. Mm-hmm. Boom. So this the free game I'm gonna give you. So I'm not just gonna tell you, nah, I can't do that. That's not me. All right, look, this is how you do this moving forward. Mm-hmm. Now, how you choose to take that, that's going to be on you. Right. You feel what I'm saying? So next time, instead of saying, yo, here's my product, man, would you mind, could I send you some, and could you post it? Instead of telling me this, again, because I made that mistake. Sure. Hey, yo, look, what's your address? I just want to send you some stuff. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It hits different from on the other end. Mm-hmm. That way, I'm not even, if you post it, you post it.
Right, no doubt.
It's been plenty of people, numerous of people that I've sent that didn't post anything. I don't have any ill feelings toward them because that wasn't my intention. My intention was not to send that to you in an exchange for something. Sure. That wasn't my intention, because I know when I sent it to you, it wasn't a necessary invoice attached to it. Sure. So I think that'll be very selfish, and I think that'll be very almost arrogant to think, just, man, hey, look, man, I'm me. Like, I'm sending you this, bro, post that. Mm-hmm. People, they think that way. I'm coming to you extremely humble. Hey, yo, look, here goes, I got hey, man, look, I got a t-shirt brand, I got a t-shirt line, man. Redefine the Black man. This is what we about. Look, I just want to send you a few shirts, bro, and all I need is your address. That's it. I'm not asking you to post. I'm not asking you to do anything. I just want to send you something, because who knows, you might post just off the strength of me just asking you what your address is. Like, what's your address, bro? I just want to send you some merch. Like, that goes along. Like, one of my longest standing partnerships, man. That's how, two of my longest standing partnerships, that's how partnerships became. Mm-hmm. Like, no contract, like nothing, just, hey, yo, look, what's your address? I want to send you something. That came with a shoe brand and that came with an accessory brand. Those are my two longest partnerships. Those partnerships, they will never leave me. Never. I don't care how big I get. They will never leave me. If I blow up, I guarantee you they blowing up with me. No, they coming. They don't have a choice but to come with me, because when I was banned with just 4,000 followers, only thing they said was, hey, bro, I love what you're doing. Can I send you some free products? Again, I'm 5,000 followers in the game. Yeah, you see me at 17K now. Sure. They was doing this 5,000 followers. Hey, look, I see what you're doing. Hey, yo, look, I just want to send you some stuff. Mm-hmm. And they never wanted anything from me. Never wanted anything from me. Man, I got shoe company. They send me 2 to 3 pair of shoes every month. Every month. Again, this is no This no contract. This no hand. This is no nothing. This is just I love what you represent. And to be even like to even one of the brands, like they're a white-owned brand, but they just love what I represent. When they say, man, when they see redefine the black man, that don't make them like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
That don't like that. No, I love what you're doing. No, promote that, bro. And I want to help you promote that. I want to help you put these looks together, bro. I'm gonna send you something every month. Anytime they got something new, they just send it to me. And again, they send it to me, and I don't have a clue that they're sending it to me. They just send it. Like it's no, hey, yo, we got some shoes on the way. Now I just see when I open my front door. But that's when you build something again. I built the brand based off character. I didn't build a brand based off bread. I built the brand based off character, not currency. So when you build it off character, not currency, you get real relationships. When you get real relationships, they then elevate to other real relationships. So when you start talking about just these smaller brands and just ways that we can continually like just help each other out as black men, I think that's one of the biggest things we can do, you know, as far as these smaller brands. Yo, I'm never gonna come with a hand. I'm never coming with the hand out. I'm always coming with the hand over. So my hand is always gonna be up top. It's never going to be beneath. It's never going to be under. It's always going to be on top. I'm always trying to give you something before I receive anything.
That's one of the best lessons, even outside of, you know, what you do as a retailer, as a business owner, just being as a person. And I think the common word here we're looking also at is courtesy. Just having the effect, you know, being effective and being courteous, doing things, taking the initiative, you know, not waiting for somebody to give, you know, being able to offer. You go to somebody's house, you come with something. Those are some of the prime examples. I hope that if you're watching this, that you take from this, because, you know, as I've come to understand in my past 10 years, I've never got anywhere by just, hey, waiting for something to just pop in my hand. It never worked out for me. Everything that I own, everything that I have, and you kind of look around, and I know you probably do it too. You look around, everything and all that stuff like that. I was like, you know what? All these things that's around me, all these gifts, all these stuff, they mean nothing. At the end of the day, it's my family. It's the people that I care about, people I love, the experiences, the moments, all that stuff is more worth. I'll give it all away. At the end of the day, I praise God because he has done so much for me and what he's been able to do to achieve. And all I'm doing here, while you were here with me today, all what I'm doing is giving back. And being a blessing to somebody else. That's it. I don't even expect anything. I want people to just to learn, develop, and grow. Man, brother, I know we narrowing down to the time. Are any final thoughts? Because this has been wonderful. I appreciate your existence right here with me today.
All right, so because I know you're finna close, and I know you said about just being a blessing. I want people to understand, man, blessings don't come to you, man. Blessings flow through you. So as you getting blessings, they don't just come to you, man. They flow through you. So the blessings that I get, if I reach inside my pocket, I can't find anymore because I gave them all out. As soon as they came, I gave them right back out. And I want people to really understand that, like, blessings don't come to you, they flow through you. So the more blessings you get, the more, like, God don't have no choice but to keep blessing me because he know what I'm doing for people. He know I just gave 20 pair of AIs to my local high school basketball team. He know in that collaboration with Reebok, he know how much of a discount I took just to have that, like just to collaborate with that. So because I knew what I was doing for those kids. Like he knows that. Bro, he knows how much I took off of them. He knows that. And because he knows that, man, I'm almost sure something else gonna come up. Like where I can be another blessing. Or something like I'm literally looking for how can I give. Bro, if I keep giving, he got to keep giving to me. He ain't gonna let me pour from no empty cup. So that's what I want people to understand. Yo, blessings don't come to you, man. They flow through you.
Thank you, man. Hey, I appreciate that. You could have said it better than myself. I'm gonna tell you something. You have made my evening, made my day. I appreciate you joining us at Culture Unplugged. For those of you, if you want to learn more about Mr. Van Jr. right here, the style game, the style enthusiast, the mentor advisor, you can go to his Instagram
at What My Teacher Wears. Also follow my Instagram as well. You can connect there as well at Covered Culture _. Brother, again, I appreciate you. I'm gonna close with this final thought real quick. This quote, it says, confidence is a habit that can be developed by acting as if you already had the confidence you desire to have. And that's by Brian Tracy. Man, Mr. Van Phillips Jr. Yo.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Again, I appreciate you sharing your platform with me, man. I appreciate, you know, me wanting to help you get this message out, man, to impact, whether it be young men, whether it be older men, rather just be anyone just in general. I appreciate you just extending that olive branch to me, my brother.
Hey, man, anytime. And again, you heard it first on Coaching Unplugged. Thank you for joining us. Peace.